by saving souls. Yeah, 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 yeah. Said it's deeper than you. I'm way too old for acting. I'm tired of all the bragging. I know the code, I'm at the safe. Believe I'm getting it cracking. I'm from the south, what's happening? My black card is active. I know the streets, they motivate you to get down and active. Look, only God can judge ya, and I'm just trying to love ya. I got a vision for all my black young brothers. It's black excellence over everything, even hustling. Go ahead and get your money, but please don't lose your soul. I pray to God we shake the devil like dirt off the soap. Your mind is gold, knowledge the open road. It ain't hip to know the world beyond your zip code. How many billionaires you know come out of the streets? I said it's deeper than music by saving souls. Yeah, 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 yeah. Said it's deeper than music by saving souls. Yeah, 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 yeah. Said it's deeper than music by saving souls. Yeah, 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 yeah. Said it's deeper than music. You know, the sad reality of the situation is most other people don't know that they have a choice, given the circumstances the people that they are around, the role models they have. All they know is what they see. And what do we expect if we expect you not to expect nothing of yourself? I want to challenge the people not to think outside the box, but think as if there isn't a box there.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Thirsty Thursday podcast.
Ooh, snap, Derek. It's number 58, episode 58.
It's a lot. We're getting up there.
Yeah.
Still surprise me every week.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's been a blur. I remember doing the 50, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember that one pretty vividly, but yeah, it's just been a blast. I mean, we've had tons of good music in the previous episodes between here and 50, and people keep sending us good stuff in, like that track you just heard.
Yeah, man. Bacarrie, Washington. Deeper Than Music. That was actually produced by Lance Harrison. If that name sounds familiar, it's because he is from Live from the Basement.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's produced anybody else or.
You'd almost think he would, but maybe he's busy.
I don't know. If he hasn't, he should, because that sounded good.
Oh yeah, I really enjoy all the music that guy puts his name next to. Yeah, and it's pretty cool to see a different take on, he's got a touch in there, but it's not him. So I like getting that kind of perspective.
Yeah, I think when you sit down with them guys, with Lance and Bacarrie, and see how that came about.
Yeah, because I mean, actually recently, Derek, I was paying attention to Live from the Basement's Facebook page. So if you haven't been over there, or Bacarrie, Washington, go check those people out, Live from the Basement and Bacarrie, Washington. You can find Bacarrie, Washington at Facebook/I am Bacarrie, Washington. But I did see Live from the Basement. They did like a watch party created like an episode on like how they produce their music. It's kind of like behind the scenes, like making a music video and like.
Right on. I did not see that. I'll have to go watch it.
With their pen and paper, sitting there, listening to beats and stuff like that and trying to figure out what they wanted to do. It was pretty neat.
Go back and check out our artist spotlight if you haven't already with Live from the Basement, because they give us the same insight on how they come up with stuff. And, dude, it's really fucking interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. Way more.
Go back and listen to the artist spotlight, and they'll tell you.
Yeah, I'm saying it's way more creative than I would ever be.
Yeah, for real, and the videos and stuff too that they. Not to get too far off of into Live from the Basement.
Yeah, true.
Bacarrie, Washington, but yeah, the way they do like their lyrics and stuff, the way they put it in there, and keep putting the same stuff in there without it getting stale. It was pretty cool.
Right. So kind of back to Bacarrie, Washington. This was sent to us. I think maybe Lance had said something or said, "Hey, you should check this artist out." And then shortly after, we got a email. And I mean, take notice, artists. This is like what we enjoy getting. A graphic, like a picture of some sort. If you have it, like track or album art, and then just a brief synopsis. Like, here's the song, here's who made it, and this one actually has the lyrics on there, which I really enjoy because you can kind of.
I do too, man. Because I like lyrics, I like poetry, I like getting into that. So it's nice when there's lyrics and, like you said, artwork or whatever on there too.
Oh yeah, it's attractive. It really shows that you take the time to, you take your music serious, and you're trying to put your best foot forward to get your name out there and your music, and it's not too much. Like, we've had submissions where it's just you don't even want to look at it because it's just like you have to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It's just so much stuff. Now I get it if you're including like YouTube links to a video or giving us, kind of what the song feels like ahead of time. Like, if you're looking for this kind of song, here's what this is. Or
what you're saying is there's just too much fat, like in the sales pitch.
Yeah, I just want to see the brief. Like, here's what it is. Here's where you can, follow me on social media, and thanks for your time, basically. And if the track's good, I really like the presentation. I think we can all agree that it's much more appealing to us, and I'm sure it is for any other station or any other outlet that accepts music. This is kind of the way to do it, just because it's not overbearing for people who are looking through a lot of emails and music on every day.
I like the lyrics, and I like the artwork and whatnot. I like the back and forth we get with you can kind of tell sometimes some of the artists, and it's usually the national guys, but you bullshit back and forth a little bit and talk and get to know them. Like one of the next bands we got coming up, I actually had a decent little talk with them, like going back and forth. I'd never heard of them with their Wichita band, and we'll talk more about them here in a little bit, but I was extremely excited to find them guys.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really enjoy is getting to that interaction and kind of start that relationship, that working relationship that, it makes me want to go see them live. They're approachable. They make themselves approachable and open to dialogue. And I mean, that's the biggest thing that I've really enjoyed doing this, since we started, is meeting new people and kind of building friendships and relationships. And I mean, it's so fun. We've met so many people, Derek. If you realize how many people we've met and interacted with in the last year and a half, it's crazy.
So true. It's fun. It's fun to me to, because the way I feel, like almost any musician, any artist that we come across, we're all kind of like-minded, like y'all share that common core, and it's nice to be able to fucking, I can't always sit down and talk about, I love this song for this reason and it sounds like this and blah, 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 or same way with my band. Right. I can't really sit down and talk to most of my buddies that I've known my whole damn life about my band, because they're just like, oh, yeah, no, it sounds good. It sounds good. It sounds good. When damn well it doesn't sound that great.
Yeah, like, it might not. They might just be being nice to you, but it's, like you're saying, it's
you want
nice
some constructive criticism.
Yeah.
You want some insight into what you're doing, and I think when you start hanging out with like-minded people, musicians and bar owners,
you want them to be honest, because then you're not going to get better. Your friends are kind of I wouldn't say they're obligated to just say they like it, but
Well,
they don't want to make you feel bad, obviously. But I mean, I don't think we would if they were like, hey,
half of my old friends, they don't even know any better. They just like the way it's. But they're just getting drunk and listening to music, which is fine.
yeah,
But I want a little more technical input on it, and maybe it is good, and I'm just too goddamn hard on myself.
I don't know. I think we're always our own worst critics, Derek.
I think we talked about this last week, but no, it's always fun to be able to interact with the bands and strike up, like you said, a working relationship or a friendship. And
yeah, we've met a lot of people.
yeah, we really have. And
I'm sure there's a lot of people left to meet too. We haven't met a lot of people.
If it's just the scene or what, but not really ran into too many dickheads out there.
No.
I can't really think of anybody that. I mean, I wouldn't say it anyway. I wouldn't.
Tommy Wicker. No, I'm just kidding. Just fucking with you, Tommy.
One of my favorites, man.
Right.
That's
what I like, though. Me and him are so opposite, but we get along really well. It's just,
right.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah, I actually started messaging him the other day or the other morning. I was up drinking till like fucking 7:30 in the morning.
We don't do that. We don't do that here on the Thirsty Thursday. We don't do any of that.
I don't know what it was. I was just drinking. I wasn't even. It was just booze.
Was that after a show or something though, or
that was after the old Settler show?
Okay, so you were still kind of amped from that and kind of.
That's what I told him. I was like, man, I don't know if it was a show or what, man. Just still up, still fucking jacked up. And then me and James were sitting around bullshitting, talking, showing him old music and shit like that. It surprises me. Some of the music people have never heard. It blows.
Oh yeah, you're always showing me something new,
But yeah, I don't know. I was just up and I'm like, hey, it's like 7 in the morning. I start messaging him. I'm like, well, I'll see you're on Messenger, and everybody else went home. So
that's kind of the crazy part about playing shows, Derek, is you don't everybody's having fun enjoying the show, and you're so busy playing that it's kind of hard to get super intoxicated. So afterwards, you're kind of, after you get everything put away, tore down, you're pretty much done. That's when you're really getting your wind. You're like, all right, got that, that's out of the way.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's how I feel. I feel like I'm behind everybody else kind of to a certain degree, but I enjoy it. I mean, we've had our nights where we've been hammered while we play, but I think as of late we've done pretty good. And I mean, we're just focusing on playing, kind of have a drink or two to keep the whistles wet.
I guess the old Settler show wasn't too bad.
Right. I think we're doing a better job of not being just sloshed up there.
3Bs. I was shithoused at 3Bs.
Right. Well, that tends to happen there.
Yeah, it does. That's like I said. That's just one of those places I feel comfortable in, and it's always the same crowd,
Pretty much, yeah.
They're used to our antics.
Right.
Get to hang loose a little bit there.
Yep.
So yeah. But speaking of fucking being drunk all the time, so earlier this week, no, last week, into last week, I come up with a stupid fucking idea.
Yeah, what were you thinking, Derek?
And I brought it up thinking, like, it sounds like a good challenge.
I was like, is he trying to tell me something? Tell himself something? I don't know.
I was just listening to a podcast, and it was Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer, which they do the Sober October Challenge with Joe Rogan. And I was like, God damn, we ought to do something like that. Dumb idea. Because now I don't want to back out of it.
No.
Want to go forward with it. We can put something out on Facebook. Somebody mentioned plank. Somebody mentioned hot yoga, which is.
I shot that shit down right away.
Chance of that shit happening.
Every yoga I do is hot.
I'm fat.
Right? It's hot.
Every
It is
time.
hot. Yeah. They say the downward dog's a resting pose. Bullshit.
No shit.
But I think we're still trying to come up with what we would do if we do go forward with this. We got a little while to decide still, but it's going to come up and sneak up on us pretty quick. So
I feel like I don't know. I think we're kind of close on something. Still kind of want to hear some ideas because
yeah.
I'm not really the fitness guy.
I am
like
fitness taco in my mouth. Yeah.
running a little bit or.
Oh, yeah, remember when we went running down Douglas? Yeah, I can imagine doing a couple miles of that.
That's fucking true. That is true.
But I think we can do something that's more than we do now, and I think it will have an impact if we do it consistently. And it's a good reboot for our systems, Derek, I think.
Oh, I started thinking about it the other day, and I mean, the last time that I have stayed sober and exercised regularly.
It's like the 80s or?
It was probably like 15. 16.
So the 90s.
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking like 2 decades ago. Just
Damn.
put that out there.
You might have to start detoxing now, Derek, where you get the shake.
No, I'm telling you, I've stayed sober.
Oh, you just haven't done all of it.
And I've exercised regularly, but not at the same time. Like I'm either because I was waiting so long between exercise. Like I decided, like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go get back in the gym. We'll go exercise, work out, and I really hit it hard. And then my fucking legs hurt so goddamn bad. My fucking arms and everything. My muscles are so sore. I'll take a couple aspirin, and that doesn't work. So the next best thing that I know how to deal with pain, mental or physical, is a green bottle I like to call Jameson.
Hey, I'm even naming my kid that.
I gotta I drink. Like that's what I do after I go work out. If it's that bad, feel that bad. But
now there is research to back up, Derek, that some mild alcohol consumption during or after exercise is beneficial, but probably not to the level that you do.
What do we consider mild alcohol consumption?
Well,
like a half a bottle of Jameson, or
like a beer or something.
Oh,
maybe 2. Well, it's the same. It's kind of the same concept as how people drink like a protein shake after the gym or something. In the first 30 minutes,
right?
Aid in some sort of recovery. But Derek, I think we'll be all right if we ease into it. Don't go too hard. Obviously, that's what sounds like it's kind of giving you problems before. So kind of just take it somewhat easy at first.
Yeah.
Get your muscles warmed back up from the 90s.
Captain Obvious, eh?
Eat bananas, maybe kick up some vitamins or something like that, and drink a shitload of water.
No, I do know the one thing that we are for sure going to do is the sober part.
I will do that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be sober anyways because I'll have a kid about that point, and then again I might need a drink. I don't know.
Yeah, and we don't have a whole lot of shows, and it just kind of lined up now.
Yeah, it's going to be hard though because it's going to be getting into football season,
and not to mention Oktoberfest.
But shortly after this thing is over, I think we're going to be at Arrowhead. Just a few days after this deal.
Oh, yeah. I got that Kansas City trip.
So that'll be cool.
So maybe we need to put like a halfway point in there somewhere where we go hit an Oktoberfest or something, and I can get hammered in the middle of
It's our cheat day.
something.
What does your cheat day consist of? Lots of beer.
Oh my God, dude. Could you imagine that? Just one day in the middle of a month where you just have to drink all the fucking beer you can for. I think I would just get so fucked up that I wouldn't want to drink for another couple weeks.
Hey, that might be how we get through this. Everybody has relapses.
That or put a stipulation in there if you do drink, then you got to run like 3 miles or something like that.
Yeah. Well, that'll keep me from fucking drinking. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
That or I'll just go run 3 miles and pay. I don't know.
We're just out there running to Oktoberfest.
Right. Hey, maybe we can run to Oktoberfest and then drink beer to recover, like I mentioned earlier.
There you go. See, we're already finding loopholes. I don't know how this is going to go.
And they're like, that guy looks hammered. No, I've had a beer. I've just ran 3 miles to get here. My legs are jello. I'm stumbling around.
Honest to God, I want to see if I can fucking do it. I don't know.
I think you could run 3 miles, but you'd probably have
No. I know I can eventually do that. It's the not drinking for a month.
Oh, yeah.
That's the toughest part. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll have a problem doing it. I don't know. But does this also include, like, are we talking about caffeine as well and stuff like that? Or what's the deal on it?
Fucking caffeine and weed and booze and
I'm going to vape, though.
nothing about nicotine.
Okay. I was going to say.
Or it's one or the other, caffeine or nicotine.
Okay, I'm giving up caffeine. I'll just go to sleep early. Not be tired.
I don't smoke all that much anyway, but do what I'm drinking, so it shouldn't be.
Well, hey, this should be pretty easy then, right? November 1st, you're just
when I get really
pounding
pissed
beers and smoking a fucking carton, dude. Just
Oh
like,
yeah.
I missed you so much.
I do enjoy it. There's something about a fucking nice glass of whatever flavor of booze you're drinking, beer, whiskey, tequila, whatever. Some music and a fucking cigarette.
See, that's going to be hard going to see music and stuff like that. We're going to have to go out, Derek, and check out music still. That's going to be a tough one.
God, sober.
Yeah. We'll see. Hey, but maybe we'll actually experience the music for what it is rather than what we think it is.
I've done it a little bit. Yeah, than what we think it is.
Well, if we play a show, that's going to be an interesting one. But
Yeah, but you can't go with people that want to, because I guarantee you, like I know Glen's listening, show up to a Tequila Ridge show, that motherfucker's going to be wafting tequila in my face.
Sorry, Glenn, no Tequila Ridge, no Jason Callahan shows. No.
Oh, God. Yeah, no.
Derek has to run 10 miles because he went to a Callahan show. Not that we don't want to go to those shows. It's just probably going to drink.
Which is ironic because if I go to a Callahan show, I usually can't get off the couch for 2 days. So let alone run.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this thing goes, man. I don't think we'll have a problem, but it's funny to think about now because
No, it's funny now for sure. It's funny now. So we start getting shakes and
it's gonna suck like October 4th or 5th or 3rd or 2nd.
My favorite time of the year is fucking Oktoberfest beer.
Well, maybe you can buy some and put it in your fridge and just leave it there until the month's over.
There you go. November 1, I'm just fucking chugging.
Yep. That ought to make for a pretty good top 10, the last top 10 countdown show before the finals, though.
We're fucking yelling.
The first.
No shit. just smash hammered.
Speaking of top 10, it's still going. It's about over for the month. So go get your votes in now.
Shit, it's about over for the year.
Yeah, a couple more months. So you guys need to get your votes in if you want to make the December contest. But I will say, I'm not going to say anything about the list, but I'm going to tell you there's two artists at the very top that are kind of duking it out. They're kind of going back and forth.
Is it us?
No, we're not.
God damn it.
I'll tell you that. It's not us.
Well,
But it'll be interesting. This is going to be an interesting one. I'll tell you that, though. Because there's 12, I don't remember if it's 12 or 14 bands that are in the, I won't even say bands because we have, Dusty Grant, he's by himself, but artists. There's, some really good ones already out, in the December, so they're not in these contests. So it really makes it interesting. I like it because you're getting a lot of different kinds of music in there. But, yeah, it's going to be a good one. So if you're listening to this, you need to tune in on Sunday to the Top 10 Countdown Show at 3 p.m. And if you can't catch it Sunday, well, we're going to release it right here on the podcast. So if you subscribe shortly after the show airs on Sunday, it'll release on our podcast. So if you can't make it, you can still tune in and hear the list. So, but yeah, voting, go vote. You still have time. Don't forget about it because there's some pretty cool prizes you can get at the end here.
I agree. Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, Derek, I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about Top Shot Paint Repair. You can find them at topshotpaint.com. They specialize in hail damage, paintless dent repair, minor collision repair, marine fiberglass bed liners, and they work with all insurance providers, Derek. So if you have a problem, you can go in there and get it fixed. Or if you just want to upgrade, get some window tinting done, something like that, they'll hook you up. You can find them on Facebook at Top Shot Paint Repair, topshotpaint.com, or give them a call at 316-260-4022. Go check out what they're up to. They're always doing something cool. Located just south of the arena at 423 South St. Francis.
Alpha Heating and Air. We want to thank them and want to make sure that you go check them out. Go have a look at your heating unit. It's getting on that time of year where it's going to start getting cold soon.
Now is when you check it out.
Fall is right around the corner. Seems like we were just saying summer's right around the corner, but
yep.
Even if your unit does go out in the middle of summer, in the middle of the heat, give them a call.
Yep.
They do estimates.
They're selling high quality units as well. LG in York.
You bought one from them.
Yeah, I bought one. I bought an LG unit. It's got a 10-year warranty on it, man. That's a long time. So that should tell you the quality of what you're buying. Pretty affordable too. I mean, for what you get. And
it is. It's a nice little quiet unit.
Yeah, my electric bill hasn't changed at all.
That's adding a whole second unit.
Yeah,
that's
basically identical to last year.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So give Alpha Heating and Air a call at 316-765-4492. Tell them ICT Radio sent you. Man. So Derek, coming up, we have a really cool song, and after the break, we have Glen and Luke out at Red Cat talking to Doug Adams. So I don't know if you know anything about Doug Adams, Derek.
I don't personally, but I'm ready to listen to the interview because he's got incredible story. Like, or was he with Steppenwolf or?
He's been everywhere, man. He could, yeah.
The band. So I don't know. I haven't listened to haven't got to listen to the interview yet. So,
but I do know he's one of the prominent. He's like the prominent sound company, in Wichita.
Right.
And yeah, Glenn's known him for quite some time, and it's just once again a different perspective of a live show and the interaction that makes the whole music happen, everything to do with the music in the live scene happen. So
I know Glenn was very adamant about getting him in there because he said he was going to be a really cool guest. So I trust Glenn. He hasn't failed us yet.
I think it's just cool though, because we're getting all these different perspectives from everybody who has kind of their hand in the success of the local scene, and even beyond.
Right.
Those people in there, and I really look forward to continually getting more and more people in there, different kinds of people. Whether that's music related or just some really interesting people getting in there. It's really exciting to look forward to. It's always something I look forward to on our show, and I'm so grateful that they decided to join us on this. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and keep an eye out because we have even more awesome guests lined up. So,
and if you haven't yet, go check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/ICT radio. We actually have some really cool stuff set up, so go check that out, patreon.com/ICT radio. We're not the kind of people like, give us money, we help us out. But we
fucking give me money.
Obviously we have costs, associated with doing this, but I think the way we kind of set it up is you get stuff as well, if you contribute to what we're doing. We don't just take your money and run. Like you get, we got some cool stuff, like you get t-shirts and different things. Just go check it out. If you can support us, cool. If not, that's cool as well. We obviously do this for the artists.
And if you have an idea or a way that something that we could offer that maybe we didn't think of.
Yeah, we can always change our tiers and stuff like that and everything involved. But I think the most attractive thing, Derek, is, like if you donate $5, you get a t-shirt, man.
Right.
So
yeah, there's different tiers. There's different things associated with those tiers. Really cool. I know enough people around town that are big enough fans of music that they'd be really into it. They'd really like some of that swag.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff behind it too. So there's a lot of
like I said, go look at it. Just go check it out and let us know what you think, and maybe there's something we could improve on, or maybe there's something you want to get involved with. So
yeah, definitely at the end of the day, the mission's to keep building the scene bigger and bigger, and this is one way that we can think that maybe this will help doing that. So yeah,
absolutely,
go check that out. But coming up, Derek, we have a really cool track that we just got.
This is actually an interaction with somebody on Facebook led to these guys. A little shout out to Matt Baller. We were talking about something, and I can't remember. Somebody's album came out or something like that, and he said, Miami Over Moon has a new album or a new track coming out tomorrow, and I can't wait to hear it. And I was like,
who is that?
Who is this Miami Over Moon we speak of? So, and obviously their track wasn't out yet. There was a little snippet of it, and but anyway, they're
it's out now.
New band. I can't remember. God damn it, what he said. I think they're a new band. Sorry if I got that wrong, but the song is jamming. Really digging it.
Yep.
Hopefully we can get in, talk to them, and find out a little bit more about them.
Yeah. So guys, if you're listening, get with us, and we can arrange that.
Well, to be fair, we did have some interaction last week, but I dropped the ball on that one.
But I'm sure, hopefully they listen to this and reach out to us because, yeah, we're continually booking, meetings and interviews with bands. So reach out to us and see what we can work out.
Yep, absolutely. But at any rate, here is Miami Over Moon, the new track, Keith.
priority. For you, yes, we can see. Tell me the truth, nothing but the truth. Truth be told, truth is never told enough. Man, the past, but I also have the future. Can't take that away from me. I was doing myself injustice. Never would I just trust us. The only thing that changes the way that you look at me. Won't you tell me everything? If your words as good as gold, get a grip but don't let go. Truth be told, truth is never told enough. Man, the past, but I also have the future. Can't take that away from me. I was doing myself injustice. Never would I just trust us. The only thing that changes the way that you look at me. All the pretty things you think, all the types of love you seek, it's for nothing more than, it's for nothing more than all the other hands she holds, all the petty lies she stole. It's for nothing more than, it's for nothing more than. So leave the past in the past. If it's love, then act will ask. Keep looking forward to the future, where your heart won't hear the excuses. Truth be told, truth is never told enough. I may have the past, but I also have the future. You can't take that away, 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 away. I was doing myself injustice. Never would I just trust us. The only thing that changes the way that you look at me. Truth be told, truth be told.
Welcome to the Thirsty Thursday Spotlight, featuring interviews from top Wichita acts and artists, recorded live from beautiful Red Cat Recording in Peck, Kansas. Listen up, you knuckleheads. Here's your host, Glenn Shipman.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody in Wichita. It's a Thursday again. Thanks for downloading us on your favorite podcast app. Thanks for listening to us on ict-radio.com. We're back here at Red Cat Recording down in beautiful Peck, Kansas with Luke Wallace. How you doing, Luke?
Hello, Glenn. I'm doing very well. It's been another week.
It's over 105 degrees all week long.
They say yesterday, Tuesday, was the hottest on record for this year around here.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I know my AC is working overtime, so.
Mine just gave up, and
It feels pretty good in here. I mean, it feels nice and cool. And
well, this is the only room in the house that it feels this way.
I see.
I duct taped all the other vents, and they're all flowing in here now.
Well, this is where all the magic's made, so it's most important.
It's worth
it,
you know. You got to
exactly.
sacrifice, you know.
Well, I'm very, very happy to have Doug Adams in the house today. Hi, Doug. How are you?
How you
Hello,
doing,
Doug.
Glenn?
And we also have Paula Travis.
Yes.
Hi, Paula.
Good
Hi.
evening, Paula. How are you?
Great.
Doug Adams and Paula are in a band called Sweetwater. When did you guys start Sweetwater?
Well, let's
1976?
start off with the Sweetwater Band.
Yeah, Sweetwater
And the
Band.
reason why that is because there was a band called Sweetwater when we started Sweetwater. So
That was the days before the internet where you could kind of
and
band
actually,
check.
Sweetwater played at Woodstock 50 years ago last weekend.
Wow.
and they were the second band to play at Woodstock.
My goodness.
So after I found out there was a Sweetwater, we had to call it the Sweetwater Band. So
I get it.
anyway, and we probably started when, Paula? When did we start this in a little house on? Where was that in Hayesville?
That's where I lived, on Twin Pines in Hayesville.
Pines, that's
well,
right.
we knew each other in high school.
Yeah.
And he came over and knew my husband real well, and I was sitting there playing the piano. I think it was about 1976.
Yeah.
And I was singing Blue Bayou.
My goodness.
And so he said, that sounds really good. I'm in a band called Bandit. And he said, but I'd like to do something else. And
Yeah.
so that's how it started, just the two of us.
Yeah.
Just the two, you guys.
Just the two of
And you
us.
went to campus. I know I've seen your name up at Campus Hall, or on the Athlete Hall of Fame there in
Well,
campus.
you
She was
have.
telling me
It's still there.
she was telling me about your state record pole vaulting.
That's right. Since
It still stands, Luke.
No good.
He's still
1974.
the state record holder pole vaulter.
Wow.
A little bit of Doug
But
Adams truth.
her husband was in Boy Scouts with me.
Oh, man.
Terry Travis,
Guys go
and
way back.
her dad,
Ex-husband.
Willie.
Ex-husband, she said.
Well, I said her husband. Okay, her husband at the time. No, her husband at the time's father was the troop leader,
Okay.
Willie Travis. So, and they had a company in town called Wichita Structural Steel. So, anyway, it was a kind of a small world growing up in Hayesville, but really she was involved in drama and band and choir. She was in that building over there, and I was kind of a jock, so to speak. So didn't really pay attention to much of the people doing plays and
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Now skip ahead 38 years, or skip 38 years, and that's when I met Doug. I was in a band, my first band, and some of the members from that band were members of your band.
that's
For
right.
example, Jimmy Baker on drums and Jerry Henson on guitar, and then I got to meet your guys' guitar player Tony Amend as well. And I also got to meet you, so that's where our history kind of starts, is 40 years later.
That's right.
So that's how I kind of know Doug Adams, and then I noticed that you guys are starting to kind of put the band back together here recently. I've got to see a couple of your practices and watching the Facebook page as well, and I saw that you guys played just 3 weekends ago.
We did. We played at the Kansas National Water Ski Tournament banquet. That was a lot to kick out there, but yeah, we did a little deal in Derby at the new park there in the middle of town.
So Paula, take me through what it was like being in a band in the 70s.
It was pretty wild because there wasn't a lot of female singers at all in bands in Wichita.
Yeah.
I think there was only like 2 that I knew of, and it was exciting, and it was also a little bit intimidating
I
at
can imagine.
times, because it's a man's world back then,
Sure.
And then when Doug and I first started, we'd have a record player and put the needle down and write
how I
down
learned
the
how to play
songs
guitar.
and
Write down each word.
Write
What
down
word
each
was that? Was it
and then
tool or was that fool or what word was that? So
Yeah.
you have to go
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah,
It took
so-
forever.
That's
Took
exactly how I learned
forever
how to
to-
play guitar too. I got the Leonard Skinner Gold and Platinum album, and just
yeah.
my little brother lifted the needle and I learned the lick, and that was just, yeah. Kids nowadays don't know how difficult it was. I say kids, and I'm, kids to me don't know how. I couldn't pull up YouTube in the day and say,
Yeah,
this is how you do this.
You couldn't Google anything back
No.
then. But we started over in Mike Maxey's basement, and Pat Keitel was there, and Jerry, and you and I, right?
Right.
And then we got our first gig at Governor's Mansion,
Oh wow.
and Pete
Pete
owned,
Seaton,
he owned Tennessee Gin Mill. And
which wasn't Tennessee Gin Mill
no,
yet. It was going to be the following weekend.
Oh, I see.
It was actually a R&B club, and I can't remember the name of that place.
it was
Maybe I can later on.
disco.
But
Something.
it was.
And we're still talking late 70s here, right?
Yeah,
77.
probably 76, probably. And anyway, the owner of this club drove down the street basically and heard us and basically hired us to be a house band the following week. And it went from a complete R&B club to a somewhat southern rock or country bar.
Sure.
They just wiped everything out and started over the next week, and now it's a country bar.
So what does that mean, house band? Is that just every weekend, or is that
That
seven
was
nights a week?
7 nights a week.
That's what I thought. Playing 7 nights a week.
7 nights a week. 2 of the people in the band had day jobs,
Oh, my goodness.
or at least one of them for sure. Pat did.
Yeah,
don't know if Mike
I
did.
worked the first 6 months a day job and at night
And played.
too.
So.
So did you eventually get to the point where that was your job?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I had to quit one or the other, and I didn't want to quit the band. So, and we were bringing in some good money at that time.
Yeah. Hell, bands made as much as you do these days.
I know.
It's
I've
terrible.
heard that. I've heard that from several, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to get you guys in here too, is because I think that, I think that our history is somewhat lost here in Wichita. And I learned that the night we went to Margaritas for that book signing of the history of rock and roll in Wichita, and I was kind of talking to some of the legends of Wichita and band scenes or whatever, and it just amazes me what all I didn't know about the town that we play in.
Oh, there was a place to play.
So
every mile.
That's what I was
know?
going to bring up next. Is that you guys were playing 7 nights a week. How many bands do you think were competing against you on a nightly basis?
Not that many at that time. I mean, there wasn't bars that were open 7 nights a week, but there were from
But the weekends.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
That's
That's back then when you had to have a liquor card or bring your own bottle.
bring your own bottle
I mean,
before buy the drink. Yeah.
that's a long time ago.
We're talking bootlegging
Yeah, I
here.
mean, you're saying if you got your bottle back there on the shelf, you could just keep going a little bit more in there, And
Yeah.
oh God,
Yeah, those days are
we
gone.
were lucky to never get arrested every night.
Yeah.
That's very
My
true.
kind of
Oh my gosh,
But the gin mill at the time had 2 stages,
they did.
and when we go on break, they'd have another band come in and play.
So they had
So it
2
was-
bands
in the
7 nights a
corner.
On
week.
rotation.
And
Yes,
Wow.
continuous music.
Wow.
continuous music.
And I think I still have the calendars that we played there at the gin mill,
Man,
and
maybe
we
you can
played like
scan
80
that
some
and-
days straight.
Maybe you
before-
can scan that over to me because
Oh,
I'd sure
man.
like to put it on
I've
our
got-
website.
I've got
would
all
be
that
so
stuff.
neat to see, wouldn't it?
No doubt.
Glenn, I have all that stuff, all the photos, all the calendars where we played. I'm a pack rat when it comes to that
That's
kind of stuff.
great. You're a historian, is what they call it.
You somebody has to keep that.
That's right. Yeah.
we did a few gigs outside of the gin mill, though. We did go to the Cotillion, which
We played the Cotillion all the time. We opened up for John Kay and Steppenwolf. I'll never forget that.
Yeah. We're going to get
that's the
into
band
John
I'd
Kay and
give it.
Steppenwolf in a little bit.
But yeah, who would have thought? But we played the Cotillion all the time, and we did all the KFDI stuff, all the
The listener
KFDI
appreciation
parties,
shows.
and
Yeah.
Joyland, and John
Yeah.
Spear was our biggest fan, and he still is today.
I can imagine.
He has to introduce our band at every show we play, so that's his job.
yes, and we also did the famous Herman Hill.
Yes.
Oh, you guys there for the
Riot.
Riot,
Yeah.
Riot show?
Well, they're saying we weren't there, but I remember
She
it
she
as-
thinks we were playing there that day, but I'm not sure. Too many brain cells. Upside down margaritas and sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I'm telling you, back in the 70s, that's what it was all about. Who could do the longest line on the coffee table?
Well, Doug, I'll just tell you a secret. Usually the woman is right. I've learned it in my experience.
Yeah, you better let her be right.
but as I remember it, and it may not be accurate either, but we had played at Herman Hill that morning, and Herman Hill had been going on for a while.
That's right.
They were just meeting there. For some reason, they didn't tell the police that there'd be all these hippies out there
that many.
that
There
many
was a lot of people there.
smoking
Yeah.
and doing their thing, and bands one right after the other.
I think
Which
what started
is
it, though, this is a parking problem.
Right. That's what I've always heard. Is there was
Yeah.
And they were asking people to move, and then people started getting belligerent. But we had to play that night at the gin mill.
So we set
So
up
trying to
that
get our
day.
gear out of there with tear gas going on, everybody rubbing their eye out. It was a mess. I do remember if we played or not, we did have equipment there.
Yeah.
And I do remember we had to be set up like at 7 o'clock that night, and it was very extremely hard to deal
My
with
goodness.
that day. But
Yeah.
that's part of Wichita history.
It is.
My
yeah.
uncle was at that experience.
Well, maybe you should ask him who was playing,
But
unless he was,
I doubt he'll remember.
unless he was doing the don't drink the water thing.
But we do have a recording of that.
We do have
We
a
do.
recording
Somebody
right here.
recorded
This,
Well, that was
Oh
at
no, this was at. We don't know exactly where this was. But we do have a whole show we did when we played it.
And I think we're going to play a song for that in our mid break, so we can get to kind of hear what you guys sounded like in the 70s.
Yeah, I see a piano there. We should make her play.
Yeah, we
live.
should just make her get up. So let's skip ahead a couple years. How long did you guys play at the gin mill for 7 days a week straight?
Well, I know we did a run of about 86 days once until we
My goodness.
hated each other.
Yeah, it was just a blur to
I can
me.
imagine.
It seemed like we lived there.
Yeah.
Because we would, of course, party after work.
I'm sure.
And then we'd go home for a little bit, and then we'd come back and we would learn new songs during the day and play them that night.
Yeah, because it's not like you can keep a 40-song set.
And during the day, too, you'd have your bottle of W.L. Weller's. And we'd
Doug
be
and I were
getting
sharing a
drunk
bottle
during the
tonight.
day. It'd be drunk by the time we started playing again, man. It was Jerry Henson is a big W.L. Weller.
I know.
Him and me both were. That was our drink back then.
Yeah, I grew up on Wellers, and I think that's why Jerry liked me in his band, because that's what I would bring. It sure wasn't because I could play the guitar, I'll tell you that.
You are you're a fine guitar player. First time I heard you, I was going, man,
I appreciate
you are, that was pretty fun listening to that band. Hell, you had like 10 guitar players in the band.
I know. It was insane. We did have 7 guitar players. That's no joke.
Really?
Yeah, it was. Well, it didn't start off as a band. It started off as just
A jam session.
And then we had family coming and going in and out of our little practice area, and my little brother heard us and thought we were good enough to play at a bar, and he talked to one of his bar friends and booked a gig. Well, we didn't have a name. So we had a weekend and a day to figure out a name, and then we were going to be playing that next weekend. So
Hell, I ran sound for you once at a VFW.
Yeah, over at 3117. Yeah.
What was the name of the band?
That was my new band. It's called Tequila Ridge.
Oh,
yeah.
That's what it was then?
Yep.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
Well, I can tell you, knowing Jerry all these years, he hasn't really changed.
No, I can
He's
tell.
hilarious.
Yeah.
He has
I
always
learned
just,
so much from Jerry when I can't imagine coming up in a better environment for me learning how to, because I really didn't know how to play the guitar when I started with him. I just knew a couple chords and
Is that right?
yeah, it was, yeah.
Well, you've come
And
a long ways in a short amount of time.
he's a good teacher, and he and I were competitive, I think, and that's what's, in a friendly way. We were never not friends. We were competitive. If I did something really good, Jerry was going to stomp me. And then as soon as he did, then I tried to stomp him.
Yeah, well, that makes you a better player.
Yeah, it sure does.
But he was pretty hysterical. We played at, was it your parents' anniversary?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And we were
Their
up on a bigger
40th or 50th anniversary or
bigger
something.
platform.
At a
stage.
VFW club, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Back behind K42 Drive-In. There used to be a VFW back in there somewhere.
I think it still is. It's
It
not
probably
it's
is.
American Legion now.
Go
but
ahead and
yeah.
tell that story,
Yeah.
because I don't remember much of it.
We just played there last Halloween. It's an American Legion now. So
Well, we were playing for that party, and of course, a lot of heavy drinking, and Jerry falls off the stage. But he's still got his guitar intact, and when he lands, he's holding up
holding
the
it.
guitar.
that's
he didn't.
way more important.
He didn't want to crash his guitar, and it was just one of the funniest moments.
Instinctual.
I remember Jerry.
I
But
don't
then we
remember
had-
much of that show.
No, then we had Pat Keitel and Mike Maxey, and then Pat left the band. He got married.
And Pat was your bass player?
No, that was our drummer.
Drummer.
And he's our drummer now.
Our drummer actually married one of the waitresses that worked at the gin mill.
Oh,
Stephanie.
Stephanie?
Yeah.
So
I don't know her.
But yeah, she was a waitress at the Tennessee Gin Mill, and I think they had something going on the side there, you know.
Huh.
But he ended up quitting the band, and
Is
that's
that
when
when you picked
Jimmy
up Jimmy
Baker
Baker?
came
Oh, yeah.
involved.
And then Mike quit.
Mike quit, and I got
He was our bass player.
I got the bass player that played with me in Bandit, which
I
I
see.
went to high school with, was Rod Vickers. So all three of us were
And I
from
met Rod,
campus now.
too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've met Rod.
Yeah.
So.
Nice guy.
And we were all three from campus then. So
Wow.
same year, same
Same-
class, believe it or not.
Can you believe that?
Something in the water.
Something
down
in the
there.
water.
It must be Vulcan.
1975. That tells you how old we are.
1975, yeah.
Must have been that Vulcan chemical just west of you there.
Yeah, that Vulcan chemical place. Yeah.
So when did you guys decide to call it quits?
Oh, well, you know, if you're like in charge of the band, you always have to do posters and you have to do
Sure.
rehearsals, and then somebody quits, and then you got to replace them and start all over again.
Right.
You know, I just got so sick of that. Probably 79,
So you guys made a pretty good run. Of
and,
playing
and
some
I
nights a
started
week
running
and-
sound in 79 and 80. And I started running sound for like Oklahoma Sunshine and some of the other bands around town. And then my first band that I really was running sound for was the Clocks.
Oh, yeah. They just did have the
Jerry
little
Sumner and
reunion.
Lance Street,
2 years
Steve
ago.
Swaim, and
Yeah.
Gerald Graves. So I got asked to run sound or do monitors for that band when they got their record deal with CBS or Boulevard
Mm-hmm.
Artists, and they just got back from L.A. doing their MTV video.
Wow.
She Looks a Lot Like You.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
after that, I started working with them doing sound.
Where?
So.
Just in town everywhere? Or
No, we traveled all over the place.
All over.
We opened up and did a bunch of shows with the Motels at the time, and then Rick Springfield. We
Okay.
did probably 10 dates with him,
Nice.
and then after the band split up, I started working with John McBride, and I started Pro Audio Systems. That's what
I was going to ask you. So, you know, Doug is the owner of Pro Audio, and I guarantee you, if you don't recognize his voice right now on the podcast here, if you've ever been to the Cotillion, or if you've ever been to a big show in Wichita, you recognize his sound. 'Cause Doug owns the premier sound company in Wichita, and you
I
guys do.
appreciate that.
I'm telling you. But, you know, they run sound for the Cotillion every time there's a Cotillion show, for the most part.
Yeah.
You guys do Stiefel Theater. You do
Well, we don't do so much the Stiefel, but we do all the stuff at the casino,
the casino.
and we do some stuff at Hartman Arena.
Okay.
The new venue out here in Andover has got a fantastic amphitheater out there. So we've been around since about 1982.
So right after, that's what I was going
Right
to ask
after
you.
the
So
Clocks, I started my company, and
was that with equipment that you had purchased for the band?
you know, pretty much when I first started, I bought everybody out in Sweetwater. We owned our own PA and lights.
Yeah.
And I think when we all called it quit, the rule was if you quit, you lost your share.
You lost
of
your
equipment.
share of equipment. Yeah.
But if you stuck it out to the very end, I think I paid everybody a couple hundred. Of course, Paula didn't get any money because she quit.
I quit.
You're back now, though.
Yeah.
She's back.
See if you can give. See if you can give him a couple hundred for your share of it.
Well, you know, hey, you know, I'll pay her back somewhere. But.
Those power cans from '76 are really coming in handy now.
I sell them now as flower pots. So
Yeah, he does.
I sold like 470 of them for flower pots.
He created a bunch of flower pots out of his par cans. It was
My
pretty
wife
neat.
said, hell, let's bolt them up to the side of the 4x4 post here and put a flower in them. And, you know, I made more money selling them as flower pots than I did stripping them down and taking them to the
Junkyard.
Junkyard.
Yeah.
I made like $1.75 for stripping them totally down at the. But hell, the park, the plant cans were $3 a piece, and we did all right.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the big reasons that I brought you in today, because, you know, I knew about Sweetwater, and I knew some of the stories from Jerry and Tony and Jimmy, and I think it's good for us to visit our history every once in a while. You know, we've had several bands that have come in that are right now just on the cusp of really, taking Wichita and making something. But I think it's good to always hear where we came from so that we can take from that and learn a little bit. And you know, I've been excited about this interview because I think you guys can both give us new bands some leadership and some guidance and some mentorship, you know. And so I think it's interesting to see that, you know, you guys started a band in 76, played 7 nights a week, made more money than bands are making now. And now you're back together.
But it wasn't really about the money at all.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't.
You know, it really wasn't. We had a band fund and we bought equipment with it.
Yeah.
You know, we had nice new monitors and we had, you know, it was. She bought her. She had a Fender Rhodes.
Oh,
that,
wow.
You know, back then it was a couple $1,000s. That was a lot of money.
Yeah,
back
it
then.
was.
So she paid that off in payments, and you know, we were just a good band. We were good timing. We had the right songs at the right time at the right place.
Right.
And with Paula, it was just, you know, you'd get goosebumps listening to this woman sing. I'm just telling
sweet.
you. You know, it's she
agree
was
with
the
that.
band. She
Yeah,
was the
I
band.
would agree with that.
And it was super, super hard to replace her. We changed our whole music format after she left the band. It turned into Southern rock with
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah.
Which Tony was on the side tuning my guitar and running lights. You know? So I mean,
Tony is a killer guitar player.
he
by the
is
way.
a good
He's
guitar
a
player.
killer
But,
good
you know,
guitar
Paula
player.
was the
Fantastic.
band. You know, that's what we did back then. We did the Fleetwood Mac and the Linda Ronstadt, and we did, you know,
The good
hard
stuff.
stuff, and we did. You know, it was fantastic.
So what do you think has changed in the last 40 years in the Wichita music scene? I mean, because you're still in it. I mean, you
Well,
see...
we're coming back. We've been around for about 3 years now. Our first gig was about 3 years ago at the Candle Club.
Yeah.
Doing the, well, it was going to be a deal for Gerald Graves, but he died the night before.
I remember that,
The
yeah.
night before. So it turned into it was going to be a benefit for him having, you know, medical issues and
Right.
stuff like that, but it ended up being a
Memorial.
play. You know, we didn't even know if we wanted to do it the next day.
I think I met you guys.
I had
well,
Jerry
not
Jerry
met.
Sumner staying with me that night, and I got that phone call from Gerald's wife that morning, and I cried with Jerry Sumner on the bed, sitting on his bed that morning, going, "Man, you know."
I think I was there the week before when you guys were practicing. That's when I first met Paula.
That's
So,
right.
Yeah.
But
listening
it's
to you
been
guys.
3 years now.
Yeah.
We've only played 3 gigs,
Yeah.
but that's all
That's
right.
not bad.
When we come out here pretty soon, it's going to be badass. I'm
Good.
telling you, we are stronger than we ever have
Well,
been
if you ever need an
vocal
opener,
wise.
let me know.
And I'll tell you what, I'm very, very happy with what we're going to put out here when we do come out. You know, it's going to be the Sweetwater Band plus more.
Good.
You know, but
We do have one more charity gig.
we do.
In September, we're doing something for Charlie Company, the veterans from Vietnam.
Okay.
They were the first ones to land in Vietnam,
Right.
and they were the last ones to leave.
leave.
It's a big,
It's a big deal.
big,
When
big
is
deal.
that?
September 21st
21st.
in Valley Center at the airplane hangar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot
Is
the
that
name.
called the
Wayne
Memorial?
Boardman
Yeah.
is one of the survivors of Charlie Company.
Yeah.
And
I think I remember reading about that in the Eagle.
and that's also the same time that Valley Center does their festival,
Fest.
fall
Yeah.
festival. But yeah, Charlie Company was in 1965. They were Army Airborne, so the first Army Airborne dropped in Vietnam in '65, and you don't even think about us being in Vietnam in '65.
That's a big secret.
That's, everybody thinks of 68, 69,
Right.
but 65, we dropped a bunch of people there.
Yeah.
That's when Bravo Company, Charlie Company.
Right.
But we're hoping there's at least 200 survivors and family members
That are
going
gonna
to
be out. That's gonna be
And
neat.
it's going to be fantastic. They're going to have the Marines come in and do the color guard.
That's
and
awesome.
We're going to have other people doing some performances, and you know, then we're going to play. We've been learning some songs, like some Creedence stuff.
Oh, nice.
You
Yeah.
know, and we're
He was
going to
about
do
to say
House of the
new
Rising.
songs, but I
Yeah,
guarantee
we're
you.
going back. We're digging some stuff out just for this thing. So
Nice.
Give me a ticket for an airplane.
yeah, so-
Ain't got time to take a fast train. We're going to learn that one pretty quick. But yeah, it's going to be fun to do
Good.
this for the veterans, you know. And since we both graduated in 75 and the Vietnam War ended in 73, that's kind of our
Sure.
era of growing up in.
Yeah.
yeah, and
know,
that's our
so-
way to thank our country and our veterans,
Yeah.
and for doing that. So, we don't really charge anything to play at these gigs lately, but we somehow people get us to play at these benefits or something. But it means a lot to us.
You know,
It
that's
does.
that's not unlike how new bands are formed and do now. You know, there's a lot of playing for free when you first start out. I mean, I'm
And,
sure you guys know that.
You know, it's like I say, it's not for the money.
Right.
It's for
Yeah.
the enjoyment.
It's for the enjoyment. And you got to have that or no money will matter.
And seeing the looks on the people's faces that
that's
used to
what I
come
like.
and hear us. We used to have huge crowds.
I bet.
And we may do something at the Cotillion or some venue that will be for just our fans.
Yeah.
So
Well, if you need
we're
an
excited.
opener,
We're
let me
excited
know.
about that.
I know a band that can open for you
All
guys.
right. Now, we're excited about our future, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
And we're all still alive. We're the original bunch, and
That's
that's
great.
a lot to say.
That's a
for
lot to say.
And you're still going by the Sweetwater Band.
The Sweetwater Band.
it.
Great.
Yeah.
That's.
So-
I think Luke's going to play a little bit of your CD here in just a little bit. But I want to talk a little bit about John Kay and Steppenwolf. You mentioned him earlier. I know you've toured all over the world with him, running sound, and how did that come about?
Oh gosh.
And how long has that been?
Well, it started off in 88, 89. I was working at John McBride's shop. His company was called MD Systems. And I had Pro Audio out of that, too, out of the same building. We
Right.
all warehoused in the same place. And I was doing a lot of shows with MD Systems as a system tech. I would be John's front of house tech.
Right.
Most of the bands out there have their own sound guys.
Their own sound guys.
So I would, do what basically I have my guys do now for other people. But he gave me an offer. John McBride said, well, we just got back from the John Kay little tour with 10 Years After and the Guess Who, and they're looking for a monitor guy. Would you like to go out and do monitors for John Kay and Steppenwolf? Or you can do this new guy that we've been doing clubs with down in Oklahoma. He's
Garth
from
Brooks.
Stillwater. He's from Stillwater, and his name's Garth Brooks. and I said, well, that's a no-brainer. I want to go out with John Kay and Steppenwolf. Who's Garth Brooks, right? And this is a true story. And so I chose John Kay. And so John McBride asked me, he goes, would you mind taking Dan Hines? That's when the Flicker Lounge was open up on 13th Street, and there was that was when kind of the college U2 music was going
okay.
on, and that that kind of
Yeah.
that feel.
Yeah.
And so I trained a guy up there. I took him up. I had a sound system in the Flicker that did, bands every weekend.
Right.
So I took Dan Hines, which is still the sound man for Garth to this day.
Today.
I took him up there and showed him what an equalizer was, and an EQ, and a soundboard. And this is what you're going to have to work with when you're out with this new guy, Garth Brooks and John McBride, being a systems tech. So, and the rest is history. To this day, when Garth plays in town, Dan calls me up and says, do you want to come to the gig? Because he feels somewhat responsible. And my life would have been totally different if I would have went the other way. But you never know.
Yeah.
But being with John Kay 30 years in 27 countries, and it's just been a fantastic ride.
So how does that work? How many times does he play a year now?
Well, now he took this year off.
I remember you telling me that, but let's say last year. And
the
previous
first 10 years, we did about 180 dates a year.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't see my house, I wouldn't see my family, wouldn't see my wife, and for 6
half a
months.
year. Yeah.
And I lived in a truck.
Sure.
We had a sleeper in the front part of the truck, so I had like 11 cubic feet of room to live in. So
And Doug is
It
about
was
6'3", by the way. Just so you
it
know.
was a horrible life, but it was wonderful.
Yeah.
First 10 years where you go to all these major cities, but after the next 10 years, you're going back to the same place, and you're
Right.
the first one there and the last one to leave. So,
Right.
It's not glorious. It's not a big party like everybody says. Oh, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
You get to party with the band and all the girls and all that. And it's
Yeah,
not like
rolling
that at all. You're
chords.
the first one there, and you're the last one to leave, and you're hot and sweaty, and you're tired, and you take truck stop showers, and you
Yeah.
get in the truck, and you keep rolling all night long, 500-600 miles a night, and it's hard. I've been married 36 years. I've missed 28 anniversaries.
Oh, my goodness.
My son
That's
is 28, and I've missed 19 of his birthdays. So it's tough. But being with John, I've actually got to. We recorded a live album at 25 years into it, live at 25, and I got to be part of that. So I co-produced a couple.
Co-produced, and you're
I got
telling us
points on the record, so I've got a couple of records hanging up on my wall.
Yeah, they went gold. You said?
No, they're not. They're just from Dunhill and some other things. But
I see.
But
that's awesome.
It is awesome.
So what's it like having this resource like that with you and your band, Paula?
Oh, I feel so fortunate because we have the best sound man, I believe, in the world. He makes us sound so much better than we.
Well, you should tell them the story about how we actually, after you left the band. I mean, she left the band like on quite a quick note, I would say, right? And then I didn't see her again for what we talked about that last night, 10 or 20 years, right?
Yeah. Something like that, about 20 years
go ahead
later.
And tell him the story about that.
Oh, okay. Well,
this is a good story.
Like I said, we had played so many days in a row, and it just got to be kind of a blur. And at 21, 22 years old, I can't say I was making the best life choices in the world. But anyway, I left the band just one day. I just didn't go back. So it was kind of sad
one
for
night
those guys.
she didn't.
Yeah, one night they had to perform, and then
where's Paula?
who, And so I had left and ended up going to Oshkosh, Wisconsin, to see my sister, and stayed with her up there. And they were preachers, and I met my husband up there, Ron, current husband,
okay.
And. My sister ended up coming back to Wichita to start a church, and so we stayed up there for 4 years, and then I lived in Kansas City for 10 years. But all this time, I didn't really pursue music at all. It was just kind of...
in church.
Yeah, I just play piano for church people and stuff, and just kind of gave up on that whole...
Side of it. And,
yeah, pretty much. I always tell her I ruined her life, first half of her life,
But he didn't. But he didn't. And so we had a little storefront church in Hayesville.
In Grand Lane Shopping Center.
Grand Lane Shopping Center. And Doug was out there setting up for a big concert of some type. And I was in the building. We haven't seen each other in 20...
She didn't know I was out there.
20 years.
Getting ready to do sound check, making a racket, doing kick drum, a little bit more,
Really loud.
And then she comes, somebody comes up behind me and taps me on the shoulder, basically.
Yeah.
And I said, can you stop making so much noise for about 30 minutes? We're having a wedding at this church. I turned around and it was Doug. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, after that many years.
We just hugged, we were just like, oh my God, It
didn't matter about the wedding,
Yeah, forget that. And
and then after that day, I didn't see her again for ever and ever and ever.
Huh.
Yeah.
And then someone told me that she was teaching a school at a little church up the street from where I live on Hydraulic and 235 up by Wassell and Hydraulic. Right. And so I sent my wife up there one day. I said, why don't you go up there and see if Paula's really there? And she came in the front door and asked somebody. Mm-hmm. She said, this may sound odd, but do you have a Paula that works here or something? And they go, yeah, she's back in the kitchen or back there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Then
I was volunteering teaching for our church school.
What year was
what
this?
I was doing. And Terry walked in, and I
Terry's
knew her.
Doug's wife.
Yes, Terry, Doug's wife. And I knew her, and she goes, Paula, and she goes, I'm Terry Adams. And we just hugged, and I just couldn't believe it,
That's another 20 years later after the first time. Right? But what's ironic is her sister's name is Terry. Huh. And her sister's husband's name is Doug. That is the preacher or owner of this church. So she's been dealing with the Terry and Doug for
her whole life.
And now Terry and Doug here. Unbelievable.
So she asked me, she said, we're doing a benefit. Would you
This weekend.
This weekend, would you come perform with us? And I was like, oh my God, I haven't sang these songs in forever. And of course, I was nervous. I thought I did terrible.
This was like Monday.
But
she walked into my shop like Tuesday or Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
and we embraced each other. And you know, and I think you seen us rehearsing that following week.
Thursday or Friday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was less than 24 hours we had under our belt to.
That's crazy. It sounded good.
But yeah, you wait.
I'm ready.
But
so
anyway, what
to
a story.
get back together, it's just been fun. And it's been amazing, and I'm enjoying it so much more, I think, now than I even did back then.
Because we remember
Yeah, and
the
it
things. Well, kind of.
because
The Alzheimer's shit's kind of.
but being in a band and playing that much, I probably wouldn't recommend that.
No.
For a young band starting out. I would say go in it and have fun.
Yeah.
You know, don't make it quite so much of a job.
Sure.
Don't try to be so professional. You know, just go enjoy yourselves, because we were pretty under the gun to be on top of things all the time. The latest music, the latest everything, and to sing that much every night, and you're talking heart, you know, that's a lot
Difficult stuff.
difficult stuff, and it was just a kind of a party atmosphere, but yet we still had to keep it together because
Still had to
that was
pay
all
4
our
cents.
livelihoods.
Yeah.
You know, so I probably would recommend for younger groups now, just don't take it so seriously and don't work so hard at it. You know, enjoy it. Enjoy
That's-
the moment.
That's one of the things that I ask every band that comes through here is, you know, and you're getting ready to answer it before I interrupt it, but is it more important to have chemistry or is it more important to have talent? Because, you know, I think we have a scene right now that some focus on talent only, some focus on chemistry. You know, what do you think? Is it more important to have chemistry in a band or talent in a band? Which is more successful?
I would say chemistry, because talent you can find just about everywhere. And if you look at some of the greatest artists, and I'll just use like Johnny Cash, for example,
Sure.
or some of these people that weren't the most super talented people in the world, but they had a chemistry.
Right, never
and
made
they
it on
had
American Idol. Right.
Yeah. You know, just and today with the internet, and I look on there and I think, oh my God, what am I doing still singing? You know, you see all these gorgeous
12-year-olds.
women and they're so talented and they can do everything. They can play, sing, dance, you know, they've got it all, you know. So I would say it really doesn't matter that much about the talent. I think it's the chemistry, and I think if people are enjoying you and you're enjoying them at that crucial moment in the crowd, that's when the magic happens. It's not.
It's a connection.
I mean, yeah, you can wow them with
Sure.
just about anything, really.
Well, I want you to
But-
remember that when you hear yourself on
Oh, I'm so-
everybody's cell phones.
I'm
You know,
so
we did our gig in
critical.
Derby, right? And everybody has cell phones and starts posting stuff.
I'm like,
And Paula's going, "Oh God, you know." I said, "Get used to that, because that's, you know, everybody's going to
times
do
now.
that."
Yeah.
So remember, it's the chemistry.
yes, I'm going to eat those
So-
words probably.
but,
But
you know-
when we played, I just, you know,
You guys
crossed
have-
myself. Thank God there was no internet back then.
Oh,
But you guys have both chemistry.
you have
and
no
talent,
private
though.
life now. You know what I mean?
No, not.
You know, I mean,
But you're fortunate to have both chemistry and talent. So you know that's a.
She is for sure. She's been playing this whole time. I didn't pick up a guitar for 30 years. When I
Yeah.
seen you at Bob's house,
Yeah.
I hadn't picked up my guitar. It had the same strings on it, Glenn, from the last gig we played at Caesar's Palace. So I
you never
swear to
used my
God, I
guitar.
swear to God. You know, so I'm struggling worse than any of them, probably, because Tony's retired and he's really, you know, he has all the time in the world.
Yeah, and he
Paula
likes to
still
practice.
sings in church every Sunday, and Mike Maxey is our bass player, but he plays actually guitar in his church. He's the biggest church in town, Central Christian.
Right.
And then you got Pat Keitel that still plays with
Bucky Fowler.
You know, and then you got Jerry. He plays in what's the name of that band they call themselves?
Custer Street.
Custer Street.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, everybody still plays, but really me, and I'm.
But he's a good sound man.
That's right. That is true.
Well, let's listen to a little bit right here. We're going to take a little opportunity to listen to some 1970s The Sweetwater Band.
Rock on, gold dust woman. Take your silver spoon, dig your grave. Heartless challenge, pick your path and now pray. Wake up in the morning, see your sunrise, loves to go down. Lousy lovers pick their prey, but they'll never cry out loud. Cry out. Well, did she make you cry, make you break down, shatter your illusions of love? And is it over now? Do you know how to pick up the pieces and go home?
Holy cow. Wow.
Can we
So
clap?
that was, yes.
Yeah, let's all clap.
So
yeah.
that was recorded live at the Gin Mill, probably 77, 78, I would imagine.
Sure.
Yeah, somewhere between 76 and 78.
My goodness. And so Whitney Houston was like 14 years old when you did that.
Probably.
She probably heard that.
Eat your heart out, girl.
You guys were covering Dolly Parton at the time. And Gold Dust Woman, that is a great song, too. Our band covers that now. It's Nothing Like What You Do. Wow. I tell you, that's one of my favorite Stevie Nicks songs is Gold Dust Woman. And
We did a lot of Fleetwood Mac back then, and like I said, Heart, and Linda Ronstadt was probably one of my favorites.
she's my favorite poster that I ever had. I promise you that.
I do too. I'm telling you.
Glenn became a man.
Governor Brown, what a lucky guy, right?
But for us to play female songs back then was pretty popular.
Well, the only other female vocalist around Wichita was Connie White, and she sang in a band called Medusa.
Huh.
So
yeah, I thought there
look
was just
that
like
up.
one or two
They're-
of us,
they're
or
in the
maybe
book.
three.
Glenn,
They're in that book. Yeah,
I think they are.
I have to
History.
look through that.
History of rock and roll in Wichita.
That is so neat. That and like I said when we started the interview, this is why I have you guys in here, is because I think our history is somewhat forgotten, and we have a lot of new bands that are coming up, and you gotta know your past if you're gonna find your future. I think, and it's definitely
Well,
important.
these younger bands need to listen to their elders a little bit.
Speaking of listening to their elders, Doug, that brings up a good point that I have on my little checklist of questions here. You got to run sound for so many amazing bands and probably so many not so amazing bands. And, as these bands come up, they get the opportunity to play at the cotillions, and they get, these big venue shots to open up for bands. What would you say the most important thing is for a band coming into that environment for you as the sound tech and for your crew? How can they be prepared for you guys?
Well, just don't play so damn loud on stage. For one thing, is let the sound company control your volume to put it into the PA system.
Because you're micing everything.
Because we're micing everything.
Yeah.
A lot of times we get in there and we listen to the bass. Bass is so damn loud on stage. You have to mix the whole band up to the bass volume on stage, and it's they're not used to having someone control every instrument. They're used to playing in the basement. Whoever plays,
The loudest wins.
Let's put it on 11.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's apparent with the recording.
I mean,
we
you
just
have to
listened
trust
is that,
you have to trust your sound people.
The recording we just listened to from you guys, that was all ambient sound. There was no miking except for
That's
our
right.
vocals, and you guys were well balanced. So
Back then we
Listen to this
we
guy.
didn't. Hell, back then you didn't even have monitors hardly. But no, we didn't.
You
mic
couldn't
it.
hear
We
at
didn't-
all
We
on
didn't
stage.
mic any drums or any instruments at all. You played with dynamics,
Right.
And I think today is bands a lot of times don't play with dynamics. They don't back off when the lead guitar player is playing.
Right.
It's the same volume all the way through.
Everyone's trying to compete with each other. Everyone's
That's
trying
right,
to compete to be up front.
And that's not what it's all about. You back way back and let the singer do his part, and you hear the vocals, and then you bring back up the lead.
It's making
you're
music.
winding it in and out. It's dynamics
it sure is.
between each person in that band. It's not who can be the loudest.
So, we're talking about miking all of our instruments now, and I'm sure you've seen technology change in the last 30 years that you've been running sound for everyone. Do you think it's good or bad that we're to a point now where sound is accessible to everybody?
Well, I mean, now there is no record deals. You don't get a record deal. You don't get money up front. You don't get to go buy new road cases and all that stuff. Anybody can make a record in their house.
Yeah.
With digital technology, it is unbelievable that the quality that you could put out even in a basement tape.
Sure.
I don't like that. I'm an analog guy because there's just so much digital technology out there, and when you're doing live stuff, you have to depend on Wi-Fi signals.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not dependable.
Yeah.
It's a computer.
Right.
Computers crash. You have a desktop computer, it's going to crash. It is going to crash.
It's going to crash.
It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
It's probably
So then everything freezes up. Like last weekend, I did a show down south, in Mulvane, and the Wi-Fi signal crashed. So everything is froze up to the right where it crashed. You cannot do any changes anywhere
until that thing reboots
until
itself.
it reboots, and it's a couple minutes.
Yeah.
So if it crashes during a moment of feedback,
Yeah.
it's feeding back.
Yeah, it's feeding back for 2 minutes.
Unless you go turn down all the amps and turn everything off. But I mean, I don't depend on all this technology. It's not it's a computer. They are going to crash. It's a matter of when.
Sure.
And I'm an analog guy. Give me some faders that I can slide up and down and control everything
and
instead of
reduce the
using my
likelihood.
finger on an iPad. You
Yeah.
know, it's just not fast. It's not user friendly. So.
Well, and I think that's what they sell it as, is user friendly, because I think it's not.
Well, that's fine if you have the same band using the same thing every night.
Right.
But,
But-
that's fine. But if you're doing multiple bands, it's not user friendly.
I get you. I think what they sell it as is user friendly for the lowest common denominator. They're not designed for guys like you that can actually do the job of running sound. It's for, the computers make people's lives easier, but that doesn't mean that they're better.
Well, it's like your band. I came in once and set up your system.
We still use that setting to this day.
And he calls up my setting, and that's a base point to start with.
Yeah,
So.
we sure do. And that's where we start. We make some EQ adjustments to the room or whatever, but Doug got us all dialed in, and that's in our vault.
Like last night at band practice, I have this iPad in my hand, and I'm doing our monitors, and it's totally different than it used to be. You had a mixer board
Sure.
there before, but all you guys are going, well, what is that? Jerry was going, what?
Jerry's
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what you can do on that iPad.
Sure.
But
If you have a console.
if you were to want to turn everything down real fast, on an analog board, you can just reach up to the master faders and pull them down. On an iPad, you have to scroll over to the right page and then slide.
Right.
It's not happening. But
One thing I've noticed about sound nowadays, sometimes I just get away from all the technology. I'll just take my 6-string guitar and I'll go out and sit on my porch and I'll write and I'll sing, because you can get too much of that and you lose the creativity and you lose the musicianship of it, and I think the simple things are better. There's no talent button on those keyboards. If you have...
I wish there were.
but the creativity, I think you lose some of that, don't you?
I do too. I just think that this all this technology and everything is good for if you like that sort of stuff. But,
Sure.
I mean, dependability. I don't.
Your job is relied upon.
I don't use the Wi-Fi signals at a big show because I don't
trust it. Yeah.
I don't trust it.
Right.
It's all copper wire, man.
Yep,
It's all
exactly.
copper wire.
That's
Isn't
been
that what you
tested.
did with Steppenwolf? You did.
I did, but I didn't ever use Wi-Fi stuff. I always used a real copper snake, a real copper wire, and not tried wireless stuff because you can't. It's not proved itself to me enough to be able to rely on that 100%.
Right, and there's no duplicity in it either. It's not
No,
like
you
ever
can't
send-
stop and rewind it like like
Luke's doing right.
like he's doing back in the office. He can stop and rewind it and
Try again.
delete things and say do it again. But
You don't get to do
live
that.
stuff, you don't get to do that. You got one shot and that's it.
Right.
Well, I think one of the questions we want to close with here is that we've talked about what it was like in the late '70s, or mid '70s, and what was it like for you guys playing in the late 2010s? Now, I mean, we're getting close to 2020, and you guys are getting ready to start kicking it again. Is it the same feeling that you had back in '76?
Well,
Better? Worse?
tell me what you felt when we played at the Candle Club for Gerald's thing.
Once I got over the nervousness of it, because I hadn't been on stage for a really long time in that setting, it felt like home.
Yeah.
I mean, when I get together with these guys, it's just, I can relax, we can play, we can...
You can't explain
have
it if you're not a musician.
Right. It's,
What kind of relief or when magic is happening,
Right.
what that feels like. But when I
It feels
played
like a drug.
when we played at the Candle Club, it was so amazing because we played second to the last, and we had all these people in the club that came up and just sat on the dance floor right in front of us. And they all had like their phones and their, but it was like these people we haven't seen for 30 years are now all sitting right there in front of us. It was an unbelievable feeling.
Yeah.
It was. It was.
That's what I remember. People,
Yeah.
they didn't just sit out on the tables. They all came up, and it was, you know.
Yeah, that's one of the questions you asked me outside was, what has kept our band together, and it's, how do you keep your musicians and your band happy? It's that feeling right there.
Magic.
It's the magic.
That's what makes it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And
What
they
keeps
say
it together.
musicians never retire. The music just stops.
Yeah.
And I think we'll keep going until we stop, I guess. One of us goes, I
until
don't know.
you put flowers on my grave, right?
And it just never gets old to me. I mean,
It's,
when we're up there, it feels like we're young again. I don't feel
when I'm at
old.
practice at my house, we practice at my house. I don't think about my phone ringing for a gig. I don't think about my work. I don't think about anything. I'm just in that
escape.
moment, and I can't explain that to my wife or anybody else,
Right.
unless you're a musician. You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you mean.
And it's just you're living in that time right there, and it's just, it's such a relief and fun.
Yeah.
It transports you
explain it.
almost.
It does.
You
It's
know?
a drug.
like-
I mean,
Yeah.
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 If you don't have any
That's what I
kids, have a kid, and you'll know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I can't wait to finish up my little book that I've been writing for a couple years. And, and it's about my life and my story and Sweetwater and Steppenwolf and everything else. And you'll learn a lot of things about
Well, we'll have to have you back on
myself.
when you
And
get ready to
the
release
names
that.
will not be changed.
Oh, boy.
My son's going to go, Dad, you used to bitch at me about doing this, this, and this. And I'll say, that's because I used to do this, this, and this. And, and I didn't want you to go through the same thing I went through.
Tell him the name of your book.
Well, it's going to be Douglas Adams's Magic Carpet Ride.
Oh, nice.
I got a little bit of permission from my boss, John Kay, to put that out. But it'll be a lot of fun. But thought I'd throw that spot in there at the end here.
Have you ever sat in a room before, Luke, where a guy can just pick up his phone and call John Kay from Steppenwolf or
Just a
Garth
couple of
Brooks?
Well, I
times.
could do that. I just talked to John the other day.
Just
You know
a couple
what's-
of times this week.
What's real sad is my boss, John Kay, is out doing a solo thing right now, and he was doing the 50th anniversary of Easy Rider next month.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Peter Fonda
Peter
just
Fonda
died.
I saw that picture of you and Peter Fonda on Facebook.
Yeah, I met Peter at the Love Run in San Francisco in 1981, and we played at 6 o'clock in the morning. What do we got? Tornado sirens?
Yeah, we
going
got
on?
some weather
Some
coming
weather
in.
coming in, sounds
Wow.
like.
Some rain.
These are all going to go off here in a second.
Yeah.
But no,
I just threw mine across the room.
Peter Fonda, I'd met him a couple times, and what a great guy. But we were going to play a motorcycle run from San Francisco down to Los Angeles called the Love Run in 1981. And Steppenwolf played at 4 o'clock we set up at 4 in the morning and played at 6 in the morning to kick off the bike run.
Bike ride, huh?
And that's where that picture came from.
Huh.
And that same day, I met Larry Hagman, which was
JR.
Yeah, JR. And then
Dallas.
Gary Busey that got hit in the head a couple times. But no, Peter is what a nice guy. I mean, he was just a normal guy. But John was pretty broken up the last couple days about. And now it's going to become a memorial gig that they're going to do next month. So it's in Music City Hall in New York City, and
That's crazy.
it's just sad losing all these people.
Yeah.
So,
Well, what a drag it is getting old,
yep.
you know. Well, Doug Adams, we sure appreciate you coming in. Paula, Travis, it's been such a great time visiting with you both. Luke, I told you this was going to be the best.
I know.
I hope it ranks up in there in the top there.
It does. I'm not left with many questions. I'm pretty
we
satisfied.
haven't even really got into any Doug's wild stories.
Oh
yet.
my
Yeah,
God!
I know,
Have
right?
me back sometime.
I know. We'll get into them coffee table races.
Do the
We'll
uncensored
fill up this
version.
glass a little bit. We'll be telling some real stories.
As always, guys, thank you for listening to us on ICT-radio.com. Thank you for downloading us on your favorite podcast app. While you're there, make sure you give us a like on Facebook. give us a review and a rating on your podcast app so that we can get up in the ratings a little bit. Once again, thanks to Doug Adams from Pro Audio and Sound, and thank you to Paula Travis, the guys from Sweetwater Band. Be looking for those guys on Facebook. They have a Facebook page at Sweetwater Band. And as always, go to shows.
Adios.
Recorded live at Red Cat Recording, Peck, Kansas. Hosted by Glenn Shipman. Check out redcatrecording.com. Adios.
All right, so we want to thank Glen and Luke for sitting down to interview.
Yeah, like I said earlier, Derek, it's always interesting to get another side to live music and how that, because there's a lot of times where you go to a show, you hear the band, you have fun, you go home. Well, that, the sound people, they're there way before the show and they're there way after the show. They're like drummers, but like way more time involved, So,
Yeah, and sound guys can make or break you.
Oh, yeah, they can make you sound really good or
We've
really
had
not.
some good ones, and we've had some bad ones, and
Schumann. Well, it depends on the day, I guess, for that guy, but
yeah, he's actually saved us a couple times too. So.
Yep. I mean, I guess I can't knock the guy too much. I'm just kidding, Schumann, but yeah, I mean, we've had good experiences and bad ones, so yeah. But Derek, this is the first Thirsty Thursday in a while that I haven't had a beer. You should be proud of me.
Getting ready for October.
No.
Yeah, that's the downside of that whole thing is you guys have to put up with a whole month of us being sober and fucking boring.
We're gonna have to come up with something to be interesting. No, I think we'll be all right, but it might be more entertaining to talk about how fucking shitty it's going. So maybe that'll be quite entertaining. I'm sure.
Our suffering will be your entertainment.
Our pain is your gain.
Anyway, we want to thank Glenn, Luke, Paula, Doug, all of you guys for the interview. We really appreciate it. We want to thank our sponsors, Alpha Heating and Air and Top Shot Paint Repair.
Yep.
We want
Great
to thank
sponsors.
you guys for listening to us, putting up with our shit. And yeah, go check out patreon.com like Eric was talking about earlier.
Yep. Just search ICT Radio, or I think it's pinned at the top of our Facebook page too. So if you're not sure where to go, just go check out our page.
Cool way to give back and a cool way to get some merch and cool experiences and whatnot.
Subscribe to our podcast. Don't forget to do that.
Yes. Like, share.
Yep.
Hell, even comment. Talk to us.
Yeah, we want feedback from you guys.
I get fucking tired of talking to this fool all the time. Somebody else to talk to.
Man, I like every time somebody comments on our podcast, though. It's really cool to see that people actually are listening.
Yeah. I know. I almost forget about it. I don't ever. Not that I don't ever, but I feel bad because I neglect that side of it. And I always tell everybody to talk, interact with us on there, and then my dumb ass always forgets to get on there and check. So
don't worry, Derek. I'll tell you because I get an email if somebody comments.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't. Your email's on there, not mine. So yeah. I'll get better at that. I'll get better at checking it. But I did notice last Thursday, or well, I guess it'd been Wednesday, when I got on there to publish the podcast, that we did have quite a bit of interaction on there. So I don't. Does it show you the names of like who you're talking to on there?
Yeah, but sometimes people have like some weird ass name like XY.
Yeah.
347Z. I'm like, hey.
I noticed that. That's what I was asking.
You mystery person. Thanks for the comment, but who the fuck are you? I'll still talk to you, but
Yeah, so just know that whenever you comment on there, we don't know who you are. Some people
maybe they want it to be that way. You don't want to associate with these guys.
Want us to know who you are. Tell
Yeah,
us.
we always enjoy interacting with everybody. It's it's fun to do this. We've done it for quite a while now, and it's a blast. I mean, it really is. We get to do some cool stuff, and hopefully this continues to grow. It's been growing. So thank you guys for listening and sharing it.
Yeah, it's been getting out there.
Couldn't do it without you.
Yeah, I know. Last week we had kind of a shitty one. we were pretty sporadic on that one. It was just all.
We were off the rails a little bit there.
Hey, you don't tune in for perfection.
Right.
I don't even think. I know I wasn't entertaining. It was just a bad day.
Out of it.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, if you guys got suggestions, any kind of music you want to hear promoted on here, feel free to shoot us a message or something. We'll do our best to accommodate, for what you guys want to hear. But typically, like you've heard before, probably we do submissions and throw them in there and kind of give them a kickstart, into our rotation, and kind of make whoever's listening kind of aware that we have this music in this band and kind of who they are. And yeah,
but we do have some weeks where we're kind of scratching for new music to throw on there. So if you guys have suggestions or requests, or you got a little shout out you want, a little happy birthday or something,
yeah,
play this song for my lover. Or I want to tell this person who used to do that. Was it Casey Kasem?
Probably.
Used to have like the fucking love letter things on there.
Stink. Request the song Stink Fist.
No, I'm pretty sure it was him that he had like he would read a listener's letter, and it was about how I love Jennifer back in fucking 1993, and she moved away. And so, Jennifer, if you're listening, here's so and so.
Lowered expectation.
Yeah.
It's like we're about to turn into the fucking, what's it on Craigslist?
Misconnections.
Yeah.
They still have that on there?
I think. I don't know. I haven't been on there in a long time, but I would assume.
Damn it. Maybe
that shit's hilarious, dude.
Maybe next week we're doing that. We're going to read some misconnections. We're doing it.
Yeah. Sounds fun, dude.
See if we can't make some fucking love happen in here.
Hey, that's what we're here for. Make connections.
Why did we never think of that?
I don't know. I just thought of it. You're welcome, Derek. You're welcome.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Now we just got to remember to do it.
I know, right? I lost my pen already, so.
Damn it.
Took me 30 minutes to find a fucking pen. Now I lost the damn thing.
Can you set a calendar reminder for next week right before we podcast? Oh, found it.
Anyway, that'll be it for us, right?
Yep. We have one more track.
I'm digging this one because it's different.
I got to see them live too. They're at the Battle of the Bands out at Stearman Field. They were in the finals along with Capybara and For the Birds. So I mean, that was a great evening of music.
That's a tough.
Oh, it was tough.
Tough lineup.
Yeah.
Do they have other shit in the same realm of For the Birds and Capybara, or they play like this song that we're getting ready to? Like
it's kind of like this. But I mean, it was maybe a little closer to, Capybara, yeah. For the Birds is just their own thing. But it was interesting because there was tons of fans from each group, and
I really look forward to getting into these guys tomorrow. I'll listen to all of them. I feel like an asshole because I haven't even listened to them. Well, other than when we were picking out songs, so I only got to hear a few. But God, yeah, they're good. Now I like the vibe that they got, dude. It's kind of like folk, kind of alternative, kind of.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, they got some banjo in at least one of their songs, I know. So you got that Americana type of touch to it.
Right.
Yeah, that old timey. I don't know. I'm looking forward to. I'll go back there and listen tomorrow at work.
Try to gauge the whole thing.
Yeah,
get a better grasp, because it sounds like some of their songs are kind of way different. So
I like way different.
I guess we haven't touched on who we're talking about. So you're probably like, who the fuck
yeah,
are these guys talking about? Who are they talking
I
about,
like to tease it a little bit that time. I just fucking forgot about it.
The only people that would know are For the Birds and Capybara, because they were there. They're like, oh, they're...
Anyway, who we're talking about is Green Flamingos.
I've never seen one of those.
I haven't either. Maybe on mushrooms or.
It's like the cousin to the pink flamingo, or the Oklahoma flamingo.
I was gonna say, got in the wrong pond or something. I don't know.
You got that blue-green algae shit on it. I'm just kidding.
Anyway, we're being dumb.
Yes, we are.
Anyway, no, I'm digging the music, man. I'm looking forward, and I hopefully get to catch him sometime soon as well.
I recommend it.
So here you go with Green Flamingos, and a song called "The Pretenders."
Enjoy.
So, till next week.
Peace.
Later.
Becky, wake up, we don't have to pretend anymore. 'Cause while you were sleeping, I drove us to some place the weather will always be warm. We can go outside and bury our faces in the sand. And there's no need to worry, 'cause no one will ask us where it is that we are from. We can walk down Main Street, dance in those honky-tonk bars, and no one will know who we are. You like the water so much that you could be a fish. We're right by the ocean, so you can go dipping any old time that you wish. We'll watch the sunset, make love in the old lifeguard stand. And when the setting is done and we've lost the sun, we can nap on a blanket of sand. We can walk on water, dance in the light of the moon. Honey, just me and you. We'll wake to a restaurant with fancy napkins and plates. We'll watch the old man as he walks to the big white piano and sits down and plays. The maitre d' calls me lucky as he pours our wine. 'Cause you're a beautiful girl and I know in this world the good ones are so hard to find. We can walk a red carpet, dance to our favorite song. stay all night long. So Becky, wake up, we don't have to pretend anymore. 'Cause while you were sleeping, I drove us to someplace the weather will